Everything you think you know about content is going to change in 2025 because of generative AI. How we think about content, how we create content, how we distribute it, how we consume it, everything around video, creativity, content, the media, it's all going to change very quickly. And that's what we're going to be tackling on this special edition of Everyday AI, where we are diving back into our 2025 AI predictions, volume 3 of 5. Today, we're going to be looking at content's AI revolution, videos, streams, and stars. I'm excited for this one. Hope you are too. If you're new here, what's going on, y'all? My name is Jordan Wilson. This is Everyday AI. If you're trying to keep up with what's happening in the world of generative AI, you're in the right place. We do this every single day, Monday through Friday, with a daily live stream podcast and free daily newsletter, helping us all hopefully not just keep up with AI, but how we can be the smartest person in our company when it comes to artificial intelligence. So please, if you haven't already, go to youreverydayai.com, sign up for our free daily newsletter. And in that newsletter, we're going to be recapping not just today's show, but we're going to have links in there to volumes 1 and volumes 2. All right. So maybe this is the first time you've heard this show and you might be wondering, who's this weird guy? Why is he making predictions? Well, I've literally in 2024, I interviewed hundreds with an S, hundreds of people for this show. Some of the smartest people in the world, from big companies like IBM, Google, Microsoft, down to small startups, the people who are building the technology that we're all using when it comes to content creation, media, marketing, etc. Right? And these things keep me up at night, right? Sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way. But I've realized I have so much great information, and not just what you all hear on this podcast or the live stream, but I've had hundreds of conversations not on those live streams, right? Whether we're helping enterprise clients learn or train their employees on generative AI, or just when I'm talking to people offline, right? Those same people from the same big companies, I have great relationships with all of them. So I said, hey, I need to take all of this knowledge, all these conversations, and give them all to you. So as my thank you for tuning in to this show, we're going to go over our 2025 AI predictions, volume 3 of 5. Content's AI revolution. So if you missed volumes 1 and 2, we're going to have those. You can go back, listen to them. It's going to be the last 2 episodes, but I'm going to very quickly recap them. All right. I'm not going to go into detail. I'm just going to tell you what they all were. So here they are. Number 25. We're going to go reverse. Ready? Quick. 25, agent orchestrators will be a growing position. 24, public companies will post jobs for AI agents. 23, company reasoning data collection. 22, high-end professional services will go through a pricing crisis. And 21, UBI becomes a household conversation. That was volume 1. Volume 2, here's what it was. 20, open source surges. Open LLMs will temporarily overtake proprietary models. 19, Chinese AI will dominate and cause confusion. 18, perplexity will pivot, get acquired, or get squashed. 17, API prices gonna drop like they're hot. And 16, embodied AI will be an exploding sector. Which brings us to today, volume 3. Content's AI revolution, videos, streams, and stars. I'm going to give it to you right now, and then we're going to dive in. You don't got to wait anymore. Ready? Number 15, AI video tools will one-shot 5+ minute HD videos, and something I'm calling APM. The future of traditional internet comes into question. Social media makes deepfake AI problems much worse. 12, first big copyright case is settled. And 11, AI influencers start killing off UGC content. All right. Live stream audience, as I did with the last ones, go ahead, put the number of the one you think is the most likely. So maybe you think 13. So say 13 most. And then which one do you think is the least likely? So, whatever that is, put the number and then say least. Yeah. So if you listen to the podcast, we do this also as a live stream, same exact thing. So if you want it first, join us on LinkedIn, Twitter, 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, let's dive into number 15. AI video tools will one-shot 5-minute HD videos and the advent of APM. That's what I'm calling a term I'm calling advanced personalized media. All right. I kind of coined a term last year during my predictions show called second computer AI, which actually became a thing. So let's just go straight into it. AI video is amazingly good, right? If you haven't been following it recently, it's no longer, janky Will Smith eating spaghetti. You can't tell the difference. All right. Let me put this out there. Most of you all don't know this. All right. Way back in one of my former lives, both when I was a journalist for 7 years and I was the executive director of a nonprofit for 10 years, I did a lot of photo and video, kind of like a pastime hobby / profession. I've shot probably, I did the math once, I think close to a million photos in my lifetime. I have 4 DSLR cameras sitting in the closet somewhere here in the little home studio. You can't tell anymore. You can't, right? AI images in Midjourney, you can't. At least those that actually know what we're doing, right? If you're talking about something like DALL-E or something like that, it looks cartoonish, right? But AI photos look very real, and everyone's turning those AI photos into AI videos, obviously. So it's hard to tell what's real and what's fake, and especially with Sora. Sora is very good, but it struggles with real world physics. What people don't understand, the Sora version that we all got in December, well, that was Sora Turbo, which is not the full Sora model. And then obviously right after that, Google came out with VO, which I don't have words. It's that good. Shockingly good. It understands real world physics. But here's where I think it's going next. One prompt, 5+ minute videos. Yeah. I got to come with bold predictions. I'm not going to come here with boring takes. I think that's where we're going. I think we will see truly personalized AI entertainment in 2026, but I think we're going to get our first glimpses toward the end of this year, 2025. Y'all remember those like Pixar shorts, right? Those were really good. Those were really cutesy. Think of those, but for exactly what you like. Right. How it is now, you got to open up Netflix, open up Amazon, and there's, thousands of things. But I'm like, who are these for? Right. Yeah, there's these algorithms and they try to recommend to you whatever is best, but it's going to be different. I think you're going to either, I think Google, as an example, you could just opt in and say, hey, take all my browsing data and make me a video on that, right? That might be a good or bad thing, depending on what you do on the internet. I would love that. I would love it. It would be a bunch of dorky AI stuff and, Chicago sports and North Carolina men's basketball and random gadgets. Like, yeah, show me some videos on that. I think that's where we're headed. Speaking of that, side note, I also see one of the major studios, right? Whether that's, the movie studios, maybe it's Netflix, maybe it's Hulu, etc. I see one of them either acquiring or acqui-hiring one of these AI video makers, right? Maybe it's not Runway. I think Runway is probably maybe too big or too established to be acquired right now. But maybe I don't know. Maybe it's one of these Pika Labs, Luma. I don't know. But I think one of these AI video makers is probably going to get acquired. Also, what's going to make that happen? Well, literally weeks ago, we started to see the first glimpses of multi-scene AI video shoots. So that's where you get this consistency, right? So a lot of people, text to video, it's getting better. It's not fantastic, right? I think you get good shots when you upload photos. So I do think by the end of the year, there will still be text to video that's really good, but it'll generate up to 5 minutes. But you also have where you can now have the exact same scene, even from a photo, and you get it from multiple angles. And I think that's ultimately what's going to help, this kind of reality, this advanced personalized media, or APM, what I'm calling it, it's going to come to fruition. Mark it down. All right, 14. This one is good. Like, I'm good for it. This one's a little ambiguous. We can't have a yes or no on the score sheet, and I'll probably do like I did last year, y'all. Like in July, I'll do a little midterm report. So this one, there's gray area, but I think the future of the traditional internet comes into question. All right. What do I mean by that? Well, the internet's garbage, right? For a lot of reasons. What a lot of people don't know, Chat GPT wasn't the first large language model, right? The GPT technology was released in 2020, the precursor, right? So we had, I believe, a GPT-2, GPT-3 was released commercially. So a lot of the early internet, right? A lot of the SEOs of the world, right? Those that were using spin tax long before there was a GPT technology, they flooded the internet with it, right? A lot of garbage, but now it's like, who's not using AI to create content for the web, right? Because traditionally, creating content for the web, it was either expensive or bad, right? Now it's cheap and good enough with large language models, right? So even what we have online right now is already so much AI. So recent studies show that 90% of new content posted online by next year will be AI generated. Let me repeat that. 90% of new content, new written content posted online will be AI generated by 2026. All right. This does a couple of things. Number one, it cuts down on the amount of original content produced by humans, right? We always talk about, oh, there's not enough new data for these large language models to scrape and gobble up. That's true. I'm calling it AI regurgitation, right? It's already been happening for a couple of years behind the scenes. People just don't understand it, right? Even this training data, right? That and this is why the smart people at the big tech companies are saying, "Hey, we might be running out of training data." Well, it's because it's already been regurgitated, right? So much of what's on the internet is just regurgitated content. I would say the last kind of AI free scraping of the internet was probably in 2021. Maybe before that, I could be wrong. But I have a little background in SEO, so I always follow what's going on in the areas of SEO content, right? Flooded. It was flooded early 2020, right? So it just creates this vicious cycle of just AI recycling. I just call it regurgitated because oftentimes you get the worst. You get the worst of it because the people doing this in mass and in bulk, they don't care. They don't, right? They're just like, all right, I'm going to get 100,000 words on the website today, 100,000 words on the website tomorrow, right? This systematic AI SEO, not good. And this causes a couple of issues, right? Number one, new content. It's bad for us humans because we're reading less human produced content. It is just regurgitated. So, think, a ship off 1%, right? 1% off the course of its target is eventually going to be completely in a different destination. I think that's the same thing that's going to happen, right? Compounding, number one, AI generated content isn't good because people don't know what they're doing. I obviously do. I'm a writer. I used to win writing awards. I use ChatGPT all day. I can create fantastic AI content, but very few people can. That's not me being like, oh, I'm so good. That's just what I've been doing for a long time. All right. So we get a bunch of mediocre content. It keeps getting gobbled up by the large language models. People keep spitting it out. So we're getting less original, high quality data. That's a problem. Number two, we have answers engines now, right? So people aren't even going to websites anymore, right? So that's problematic as well. So what incentive do big publishers who want to be putting out original stories, new research, new information, they're becoming decentivized to actually do that, right? The way the internet works online, right? You put content on your website, you either monetize from people who find your content on Google, they sign up for, a subscription of yours, they give you their email, maybe you pixel them so you can retarget them on other things and you sell them things, right? That's not happening as much anymore because you have answers engines like Perplexity, ChatGPT search, large language models in general, but now you also have this thing that's, I think, a behemoth, Google Deep Research. I've gotten it to go to 1,300 web pages to essentially scrape all this information. Google Research does it a little different. It does it via its cache of the internet. Other companies haven't really told a lot how theirs works. But that's 1,300 sites I didn't go to. That's 1,300 publishers that didn't get to pixel me. That's 1,300 companies that maybe I would have bought something or given them my email, and now they get nothing. So the very hand that feeds large language models, they've cut it off. It's problematic. Mark it down. 13, social media makes deepfake AI problems worse. Oh gosh. Meta. Don't know what Meta's doing here. All right. So Meta had this disastrous, and that's putting it nicely. Meta had this disastrous experiment with AI profiles, right? They thought, we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna have these, AI profiles engaging with humans. They're going to look like real profiles. Yeah, there's a little badge that says they're AI, but Meta wanted to make their platform stickier, right? So literally, Meta, the company, flooded their own social media channels with AI bots. Y'all, I love AI. Terrible idea. That's somewhere AI does not need to be. All right. So you had that. That's problematic. They shut it down, luckily, because everyone's like, yo, we don't need this. That's pretty bad, right? Between social media and AI, those are, people who love those things. So, you are a little tone deaf if literally the whole world's like, nah, we don't need that. Don't do that. That's bad, right? We don't want that, right? Yeah, you're trying to make the platform stickier and more engaging. Do it in a different way. Another thing that's going to lead to deepfakes. Well, speaking of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg said he's getting rid of fact checkers and instead replacing it with a community note type system. So you could argue on the pros and the cons. I think ultimately that's a net loss for AI safety. All right. That just means I think, I get you can make the argument, right? Because it's like, oh, okay, well, if these fact checkers are humans, the community note system, it gives the power to the users and, algorithms, sure. But I don't think it's a good move. Next, Elon Musk's XAI is reportedly working on an unhinged mode in Grok. Yeah. So these, which is essentially just like Grok with no guardrails. So I'm sure that's going to, start with text, but also integrate with Twitter/X photos as well with their AI photo generator. It's not good, right? So essentially all the social media companies, they are literally guardrails. No, we're good, right? Let's flood it with AI. Let's get rid of guardrails. A recipe for disaster, right? All these, 79-year-old grandmas, no offense if your grandma's 79, right? They already can't tell the difference. Hey, Jimmy, is this your classmate? It looks like he robbed a grocery store, right? Yeah, we don't need fewer guardrails and more AI on social media, right? We don't. Those are supposed to be places where humans hang out and it's safe, right? Next, I think the combination is finally here of quality, right? I think we're finally in 2025 going to have real enough AI photos that get combined with real AI video, right? But no, even real photos, right? Because you can upload a real photo. And this is bad. This is where the deepfake comes, right? I wouldn't want to be someone in high school because kids are going to get bullied this way. They're going to take photos of someone. They're going to create videos of things that didn't happen based on photos, right? And that's very easy because every single, teenager, college kid, whatever, they put their entire life on the internet. It's very easy then to grab that, put it into an AI video generator, have it doing something that person probably didn't want it to. And now you actually have lip sync AI. That's good. A recipe for a deepfake disaster. All right. Also, you have to think. So OpenAI and other researchers came out with a paper a couple of months ago to determine, they came up with a system to essentially say, hey, we need to be able to tell the difference between humans and AI, right? And I think something like that is needed, right? This is big researchers, right? It was OpenAI. It was Microsoft, it was, I believe, Oxford, some other big universities, and they said, we need some sort of system. And I know that's where people get like weirded out, right? Like, oh, I don't know. Do you get a number? Is it like a social security card, but it's just something that you put on on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube to be like, yeah, I'm a real human? Because here's the thing, as we get closer to AGI will mimic humans, right? And as we look forward past artificial general intelligence to artificial super intelligence, AI systems are going to mimic humans. And we do need some sort of way to distinguish who is a real human, who is not. That's not me. I'm not advocating for, all right, we all need some, number or something to say we're human. But the AI deepfake problems are going to get really bad in 2025. And social media is opening the door for that to happen. All right, number 12. First big copyright case is decided. All right. I do not know if it's going to be OpenAI versus the New York Times. That is the marquee copyright case, right? And you might be wondering, like, oh, well, for what? Well, let's call a spade a spade. For the most part, large language models scrape up the entirety of the internet. Copyrighted works. All of them do. Right? That's why a lot of the people in big tech and big AI are essentially challenging, decades old copyright law. And they're like, this doesn't really apply anymore. So there's that whole argument. I'll say argument, right? I'm not going to get into that right now because, it's essentially large language models. They don't one-to-one reproduce, but they take, essentially, let's say someone, writes about a product review, right? And maybe that's for a newspaper and that person got paid and, that newspaper copyrights that, right? Well, the large language model is going to gobble that up, but also they're going to gobble up the other 50 people that did that exact same thing. And all 50 of those are copyrighted. But, the big tech companies say, well, when we just blend all 50 together and we kind of, mix them up in a bowl and spit something out random, we're not reproducing copyrighted work, right? But big news organizations, regardless, are suing them. And one of these cases is going to get decided. It might not be that one. That is the biggest one. And once a domino falls, a big domino, right? I know Anthropic, I believe, did settle a lawsuit with a music publisher over reproducing some lyrics. That's small potatoes. Once one of the big fries, things are going to get spicy. All right. I don't know how much longer the OpenAI New York Times is going to go on. I believe the New York Times is suing OpenAI and Microsoft for a lot of money, unspecified amounts for allegedly using millions with an S of their pieces of work, right? Regardless of what happens, right? Whether it's the AI tech company that wins or the publisher, magazine company, newspaper company, regardless of who wins, I think chaos ensues. The first big one, right? Because then there's precedent. And then everyone else is going to follow suit, but we're all waiting for that one big domino to fall. Or, maybe they just continue to get settled and, everyone's hush-hush about it. All right. Our last one, I'm trying to get all these done in 25 minutes, by the way. We'll see if I actually do it. Last one, number 11, AI, quote unquote, influencers. So influencers that are actually AI are going to start killing off human UGC content. And you might be wondering, like, why hasn't this already happened? Why didn't it happen in 2024? Well, the tech wasn't quite there. Now it is. Right? There's literally all these open source models where you literally can get a picture from Midjourney and you upload it, and they program all the TikTok dances and all these things. You can get these quote unquote AI influencers to sit there and speak about your product. It's nuts, and they're actually pretty realistic. When they first came out, or when they first got popular about 9 months ago, they were absolute garbage. The past 9 weeks, scary good. All right. Here's the thing. I think early on, they didn't catch on because there was this over beautification of the kind of like the AI influencers, right? And it's like, no, that doesn't look real, right? But now they've gone this almost UGC style, right? User generated content. So why UGC was so big on social media is because, sometimes it wasn't the best camera. Sometimes it was a little shaky, right? Versus, a big commercial with a celebrity where they have $1 million of video equipment, right? For the most part, UGC and influencer culture took off because it's someone, with a smartphone and they're just talking into it and that's all, right? So I think now the kind of quote unquote AI influencer sector is starting to explode because it's now just looks like real people, right? Not these, hyper unrealistic versions of perfection that I think, everyone was going for to begin with. It just looks like, random people, right? In imperfections too, right? They don't have these perfect sounding voices. They're squeaky and they have weird cadences, right? But I think that love them or hate them, they're here to stay, right? And I don't think in some instances that's a bad thing, right? Because every single kid out there now, it's like, oh, what do you want to be? I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be an influencer. I want to do this. But it's like, okay, well, what? Right? Like that's fine. All right. Are you doing that for science papers? Are you doing that for, I don't know, certain sports? No, they just want to, go talk, right? So maybe it's better that, hand some of that off to AI right now. So the next generation can, I don't know, want to learn a certain skill, certain trade, and go practice that. So I think they're here to stay. All right. Look at that. We wrapped it up in about 25 minutes. That was volume 3 of our 2025 AI predictions, content, AI revolution, videos, streams, and stars. I hope this one was helpful. Don't forget, we are now at the midway point. We already did volume 1 and 2, and I read those off to you, and we just wrapped up number 3 as well. All right, so make sure to join us tomorrow. We're going to be going over our next set of AI predictions for the year, your complete AI toolkit, tools, rules, and global changes. It's going to be a good one, y'all. All right, if this was helpful, please do me a favor. Come back. Keep listening. We do this every day on our website. You should go check it out. We have everything sorted by category, like 450 podcasts. So whether you care about marketing, HR, legal, governance, whatever, go click on that category and learn from the world's experts on our website for free. Also, go to youreverydayai.com, sign up for the free daily newsletter. We're going to be recapping this show and a whole lot more. Thank you for tuning in. Join us tomorrow and every day for more Everyday AI.